Welcome back. Today it's fun because once more the internet are a bit mad at Starfield, specifically Bethesda's decision to charge $7 for a single quest. And I mean, come on, think about the headlines, right? Like, this is the $7 quest from the people that brought you horse armor. The headlines, the articles, they write themselves. Now what this is just the latest in Bethesda managing to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory, because what they have actually got is a successful rollout of their modding tools, but obviously that has now been marred by the reveal that they've added a new system for quests as a part of a free update, only to then go and charge for one of those quests, and it's $7 for that one quest, and to a lot of people, it looks absolutely silly. But thankfully, today's sponsor is the opposite of silly. Boot.dev/Bellular News, they're awesome and they're going to teach you back-end web development, which is an amazing skill. They use Python and Go, and they really do it the smart way by actually making it fun. They're an online, self-paced platform 100% designed to get you writing code, and not just any code. You work through role-playing game-inspired problems. The platform itself has got quests, levels, XP, boss fights, achievements, and you can get 25% off your first purchase with my link and code. Now, one of the things I always look for is a platform working hard to do new content, and Boot absolutely does that. Here's their June update, right? So, ever heard of Git? Well, suffice to say, Git is pretty big and pretty important. Their new module is called Learn Git, and it does just that. It's 12 hours of content across 66 lessons and quizzes, and they're always cooking up new stuff. They're working in Chapter 2 of Git right now. They're working on memory management in C, which gives me big university nostalgia, and other fun things like lore and podcasts to keep the platform growing and fun. I've literally never seen such a good setup. They are the real deal, and you can check them out today. Boot.dev/Bellular News, where the code Bellular News gets you 25% off your first purchase, and that's backed by their no questions asked 30-day money-back guarantee. And if you want to browse about, well, you can go look at the free demos for all of their courses. They're awesome, so check them out. Right, let's get into it then. So, the Xbox showcase was on Sunday. Bethesda showed off the Shattered Space expansion for Starfield. And I gotta be real with you, like, they're doing some cosmic horror stuff. I absolutely love that. I know that it's not like a critically loved movie, but even the likes of like Event Horizon, there's just something about horror in space. I absolutely love it. So that actually looked pretty good to me. Of course, definitely tinged by it, taking place in Starfield, a game that I just didn't find to be that fun. But still, it's an expansion, maybe it'll be good, and at least they're trying to fill in some of the less explored space of the campaign, but stuff that was definitely interesting with the whole, like, serpent religion cult people. So, that's happening, and it releases some point before the end of the year. But, of course, more immediately, they have got the shadow drop of Starfield Creation Engine. Now, this followed them working with some modders in the community to ensure that whenever this whole thing releases, there will be mods. Now, that is pretty damn great. And you might be saying, oh, but I heard that nobody wanted to mod Starfield and people gave up. Well, you would be partially correct, because that one guy who does make a very important mod did very publicly give up on the endeavor. But that doesn't mean that nobody is wanting to do mods for Starfield, and that means there are plenty of mods for Starfield. And what's handy about the Nexus is we can take a look at the stats. Starfield had about a quarter of the mods available that Fallout New Vegas did on Nexus mods, so that's 7.5 thousand of them and nearly 45 million downloads. Of course, those are mods made without the actual creation kit, so with creation kit existing, well, yeah, far more like in-depth, interesting, maybe mechanically more involved mods are actually possible. And to be honest, I was kind of surprised that Starfield had pretty healthy modding numbers. I mean, the game does not have a good reputation, but I suppose Starfield is a game that is very, let's just say, fixable, meaning that modders would have plenty of work to do, and that people who could be interested in, downloading mods, that they would certainly have an appetite to do so, given how many parts of the game are just weird. So, there is a bit of an appetite for mods on both sides, and now Bethesda are making that more approachable to the audience through the creation platform. And that immediately gets us to the good and the bad of today's story. If you go to the Starfield subreddit, you will see plenty of people customizing the game and actually enjoying that, even if it's a simple thing like going around as the Batman or Boba Fett or something a little bit more involved. They're actually enjoying it. I'm sure Thomas the Tank Engine will be dropping soon, but of course, big picture, with these new tools, I actually think mods could be made that could take the very flawed canvas of Starfield and actually turn it into a significantly better experience. Perhaps even putting some other IPs, different spins on it. Could be interesting stuff. But this would not be a Starfield story if it was purely positive, because it's Bethesda. There is always some sort of but, and in this case, they've released the tools for modding via the Creation Club. And that does mean we're back to our good old friend, paid mods. But this time it's with a fun new twist. Bethesda has introduced a new bounty hunting framework for missions as a part of a free update that came along with the creation kit. But one of those bounties is locked behind a $7 creation. But of course, you can't just buy it for $7. No, you've got to buy $10 worth of credits to even access it, and then you'll just have $3 of credits lying around the place. So people saw this, and then the obvious happened. Sticker shock. I mean, it's not like this is the most expensive thing in the universe, but just the sheer idea of this is a single quest that is worth 1/10 of the price of the game. Like, in that context, you can see how it does seem goofy and bizarre. Now, outside of the Reddit, what's one of the great places where people can express their feelings? Of course, it is the Steam reviews, and that does mean we can take a look at a very common friend on this channel, which is the Steam review chart. You do, in fact, see a massive spike of negativity as people are basically saying that this is not what they want. So, let's go away from the headline and take a look at what's actually in the offending pack of content and work out what the problem is with this whole situation. So what it's called is Trackers Alliance the Vulture, and I'm just going to read its description. A veteran of the Colony War is wanted for high treason against the Freestar government. Take on a treacherous Trackers Alliance contract to hunt down one of the deadliest snipers in Freestar space. It's not just the quest, there's also a new sniper rifle and 2 sets of cosmetics. Now, of course, let's just think about pricing here in video games. If Diablo 4 could sell you a sniper rifle, how much money would they sell you the rifle for? If it was Overwatch, right? Like, you know, say the Jade skins, how much would it be? So, in a way, you could say this is a $7 cosmetic that comes with a quest to unlock it, which I suppose is better than a $7 cosmetic that doesn't come with any playable content. And of course, this is coming out of the original quest that is in the free update, so it's weird. We're actually in a universe where the idea of a $7 quest almost feels more offensive than a $7 cosmetic or something like that. Not because it's literally worse, but because we're almost so desensitized to the idea that apparently it's just a completely normal thing that a weapon skin could cost that amount of money, or of course in so many other games, so much more money. So I really think the way that this plays with our perceptions of value is just honestly fascinating. Now, we can even see what value that they assign for content when we take a look at the other things that are in Bethesda's own mod suite, including the things that they made themselves. So, let's take a gander through. We've got a gun skin that is free, an outpost building that is free, and a single spacesuit that is free. Meanwhile, though, there's a 22 item pack of decor that's $10. There's the quest that, of course, is $7, and the set of 5 decorative cosmetic plushies for $3, which is amazing because when you spend $10 in order to spend $7, you'll have 3 left over and you can get some plushies. There you go. Todd's taking care of you. Now, none of this stuff is particularly worthwhile, right? Like, none of this is, big, super premium content, and I'm sure that compared to the price of the Shattered Space expansion, the dollar per content of this quest is almost certainly going to be completely laughable. And I suppose that's the weird thing with a lot of the creations. None of them, or at least few of them, are, at least in this batch, are particularly worthwhile. And that's been a problem with assigning value to creations. And it's something we probably could have assumed, we sort of had coming, right? Because we had this entire conversation back in 2017, because that's when the same thing was going on with the launch of the Creation Club for Fallout 4. I mean, even take a look at this, this old PC Gamer headline. I spent $15 on Fallout 4's Creation Club content, and here's what I got. A big-ass gun, a smaller-ass gun, a cool backpack, some power armor, and a couple of Pip-Boy skins. Was it worth it? Of course, pricing is a hilarious thing, because that cost $15 back then. I'm sure many modern games would probably have that all be part of a $50 bundle or something equally stupid. The Creation Club was strange, though. You could also buy weapons mods, armor, and cosmetics for prices that didn't really seem to reflect their value. It was bizarre. It included creations that added new guns to the game and then put them behind a quest marker and just sent you off to go and find them. So in a way, a prototype for what we're seeing in Starfield. Now, just as a recap, in case you're out of the loop here, creations were introduced in 2017 with Fallout 4, and then they were introduced to Skyrim Special Edition. And Bethesda has always framed that these are not paid mods. Instead, the framing is these paid creations were either made by Bethesda or were made with Bethesda and passed their testing and integration, but a situation where modders could still earn a royalty on them as a result. Now, of course, regular mods did exist, but they would be marked as non-official, and those could not be charged for. Now, if you take a look at the most popular mods in Starfield, you can very much see the difference. So let's see what we got. We've got 3-star armor crafting, free craft, 3-star weapon crafting, free craft, 65,000 vendor credits, shipyards, NPCs dropping armor, of course the, the PC gaming classic of removing color filters, and loads of other similar things, right? And then, of course, the likes of Batman and like a cheat room. So very much just tweaks and things that people want to dick around with. So that's basically what you see when you go and look at the popular creations. It's not stuff that people are actually buying, it's just mods and things that people are downloading. But of course, what happens the second that you allow some things that exist within this framing to be paid while other ones are free, then you basically start to play around with price perception. Is a whole companion for 300 credits fair? What about a creator pack that's mostly free, but you could get some slightly better boost packs for 100 credits? How about 600 credits for 30 luxury player homes for your outpost building? But then also coming in at 600 credits is one of the biggest featured mods, which is a whole immersive space mining sim that has missions that only cost 600. I mean, I don't know about you, but I would certainly, 600 credits? What, $6 for space mining as a thing that I can do that has got missions and content versus some random cosmetics? I think I know what I think is more value there, even though they are both the same price. So it is, and I suppose rather appropriately for Starfield, a bit of a Wild West frontier thing of trying to work out what the hell anyone should charge for any of these things. And that means we get bizarre pricing that doesn't really make sense, that doesn't match people's expectations, and of course that leads to an inconsistent user experience, it leads to sticker shock, it leads to confusion, and that leads to negative Steam scores. Because you basically have two big things happening. You have Bethesda doing their official creations with their official pricing. That is setting basically the pricing expectation straight from Big Daddy Todd. And then you've got the verified creators who are, of course, doing stuff with Bethesda. So that'll be following a lot of the same logic. And then, within the same overall system, you just have free shit that people are putting in there, which means that it's obviously going to be chaos. Another part of this, then, is people talking about a bit of a slippery slope. As an example, if you're going to put in the bounty hunting kind of framework for quests and then just sell the quests for $7, well, that is a little bit weird, right? Like the idea that you get a system of quests that starts for free and then expands into a bunch of paid content. That's a bad idea. Whenever people are worried about that, they are not wrong. Bethesda better not do that in the future, because then you truly would get the perception of just rampant nickel and diming. I'm just going to quote from a Reddit post that I think put it all quite well. As I said, it sets a dangerous precedent. I mentioned it in another post, but what then stops them selling you a DLC expansion like Shattered Space and then saying, you like that gun? $3 and you can have it. That armor looks cool. $5. Fancy new ship? $10. And that's kind of Fallout 4. We're not at the top of this slope. We are actually slowly making our way down the slope. We don't really know if audiences are actually spending any money to download this mod. Big picture, it seems like the user reviews and the public outrage just means that people won't want to go anywhere near it. And why would you go near it when also on the store there are paid things that offer a significantly better value and loads of free shit that you can have fun with? So, there you go. TLDR, Bethesda, creation kit, that's good. Creation club, look, getting mods onto consoles and that sort of thing, I think that is good. A lot of the specific implementation and pricing, though, well, I would say a fairly traditional Bethesda situation. As for Shattered Space, looks interesting, but I I don't know. I think I'd have to see some pretty damn good reviews to pull me back in the game. I mean, I don't know, maybe I just didn't have a particularly good time when I put about 10 hours into it, but there are so many games competing for my attention that a very kind of boring game like Starfield just can't compete. I mean, I like cubes. The environment, you know, the detail, the whiteboards, those were cool. You know, I feel like all the people who did the set dressing, they did a really good job. It's just, you know, it was so flat. It was so flat. I suppose my ultimate review of Starfield is, it is about as exciting as Preston Garvey. With that said, thanks for watching. Be sure to check out Boot. They're an awesome bunch, big supporter of our show. With that said, be back tomorrow with more content, so see you there.